at keeping in touch. It is the one of the components within the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint. And as you know, we have 6 steps within the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint that are in order and sequence that I believe, if you pay attention to them, if you work on them, if you build these areas out within your business, then you will build a sustainable local business. It doesn't matter, my belief is it doesn't matter whereabouts you are within the country, within a 15 to 20 mile radius of where you live, there is enough work to sustain you as a business. We know that there are some people that are living out in the sticks and they may have to expand that a little bit to 30 or 40 miles or so on and so forth. I get that, I understand it. But in the main, we're looking at people within a sort of a 15, 20 mile radius of where you actually are. If you apply these 6 steps to your business, you will create a sustainable business. The keep in touch component, keep in touch element of it is the 5th element. It comes way down in the pecking order. You know, after you have sorted out your niche, and you know, again, I don't need to teach you how to suck eggs. It is all part of the toolbox philosophy. You know, you're sorting out your niche or your specialist area is all about understanding who your ideal customer is, understand the area you want to work in, understand the type of work that you actually want to do, leveling down on your minimum charge and targeting the right kind of customers that are looking to work with you or that you are happy to work with, followed by positioning. That is all about positioning you as a local expert within your community. And of course, we've got a number of things that we do to work on that. We have our website, we have our Facebook presence, we have our Twitter presence, our YouTube presence. We create helpful videos, various different types of videos that we teach inside of our video training. We have blog posting, we have networking to help with that as well, as in public speaking, creation of worksheets or help sheets, as we call them, for our customers to explain what it is that we do in layman's terms. So there's a huge amount of things we can do as far as positioning ourselves is concerned. And again, all of this is done in advance. You don't try and get a customer and then try and position yourself, which is what most people do. They go out to do a quote and then they try and tell everybody just how good they are and how much better they are than the other guy. Wrong way around. You tell everybody how good you are and then they call you because you're good, and then it's easier for you to get the work. That's in very simplistic terms. And having those 2 things in place, first of all, before we go out and we start advertising, that's the awareness component of what we do. That is well, part of the local advertising code, which is everything to do with leaflets, magazines, networking, local newspapers, banners in rugby clubs, football clubs, whatever. You know, advertising is it's not the first thing, which unfortunately is what many people do. They start up in business, or they go out on their own for the first time, and the first thing they do is they spend a lot of money advertising what they do without having put the first 2 steps in place. And that's why they fail, because they haven't niched down, they haven't specialized, they don't have a clue who they want to work for, so they end up working for all sorts of people who argue on price. They're not sure what they're charging, and they're not sure what they specialize in, so they end up doing a broad range of work, carrying a wide range of stock, trying to please everyone and then pleasing nobody. So these are the reasons why people end up having failed businesses. Anyway, so we go from the awareness stage down to relationships. Once we've let people know that we do exist, we then have to start building relationships with these people, again, ahead of the fact that we start working for them. But then once we start working with them, even if it's just a matter of getting the opportunity to go and do a quote, we then have to start forming and building a relationship with these people so that they will buy from us, because we know people buy from people that they know, like, and trust, and people buy from people like them. And that's why we teach the whole component on rapport, to help you to build relationships where your customers feel that you are not just a Sparky, but you are integral to their being. You are a friend. You are somebody that they can get close to a fashion. And that's what the whole relationship part is about. And then nurturing that relationship going forward, moving forward, making sure that they see you as an important part of their friend circle, rather than just the sparks that they call on now and again when they need somebody, or that they forget about as soon as you've left the building. Today, then, we look at the whole communication piece, which is keeping in touch. We're not going into the whole communication piece, but we're going to take a look at the various different methods of keeping in touch that many people forget when they drill down on one. So, as I said, Saturday we'll do email marketing, and unfortunately, the pattern is that when we start talking about email marketing and stuff, people go away and they forget that it's part of a bigger component, which is the whole keeping in touch, customer keeper component. And then, of course, the final component of the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint is the systemizing, and that is when you work out your doctor's diary, when you have your marketing calendar, when you plan out your strategy as far as any offers that you're going to be working on, when you know what your marketing campaigns are going to be and your content campaigns are going to be on YouTube, on Facebook, within your email sequences, and so on and so forth. And that's about systemizing the marketing in such a way that you don't end up having to spend your time when you go through that inverted commas feast and famine. One week you've got lots and lots of work, next week you've got absolutely nothing, and you start pedaling really hard to try and get work in, and then you get work in, and then suddenly you're busy doing all the work again, and you go through that whole cycle of feast and famine and feast and famine. And I'm sure at some point some of you have been through that situation. Systemizing your marketing in a manner that you have a funnel where work is constantly coming in at the top end means that you don't go through that feast and famine cycle, and you can control better the type of work that you're taking on. And once you can control that, then you can control your pricing, you control the hours that you work, the time that you actually spend at work, and managing the diary, as I say, all that in future. So that is a quick overview of the S.P.A.R.K.S. As we said, we're going to look at a component of the Keep in Touch this morning. Right, bear with me while I have a sip of this. Let me see some thumbs, hearts, and smiley faces if you are ready for this. Seems like I've been talking at 90 miles a minute there. Is everybody with me so far, and everybody understands how the 6 components of the S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint all fits together? And I know from time to time I come back to this, but I think it's only right that we do that. There needs to be from time to time a reminder that what you're actually doing, guys, as toolboxers, is you are working to a system. And although each business is going to be different, and each one of you will be needing to work on different elements of this system, it's to understand that you don't just throw one thing at it. You don't just go, oh, leaflets work great for everybody, therefore I'm going to do leaflets. Our magazine ads have been working fantastic this quarter, so we're all going to go and do magazine ads. You need to realize that it is a system, and that you need to build step by step. No matter what stage you come to the toolbox, you need to build step by step each of these 6 components in order. And then once they are built, you need to maintain these in relationship to your business. And if you do it that way, then you will have a successful business. And all I say now is ask the guys who are actually doing this in their business, not the ones that are coming along and just doing, oh, I'm just going to choose to do this because this is the easy part, or I'm just going to do this because this suits me, and I'd rather do this than do that. You need to work on each of the 6 areas and build them up one at a time, and then once built, then you need to maintain them. Good morning, Terry. Terry Lyons has joined. Great to see you out there, sir. Again, if you're out there, you haven't yet jumped in to say good morning, please do jump in, say good morning. And if you have any queries, questions, comments for this morning, then please do just drop a line in the comment section and let me know. Okay, let's have a look then. So we have, let's just take a look first of all at the overview of the Keep in Touch component of what we do within the toolbox. So we have 3 distinct areas that we need to look at. We look at contact, which is where you have initial contact, first point of contact with your potential customers. You have contract, which is all about the point at where you are working for the individual, the potential customer. And then we have the continuity, and the continuity is where we're going to be looking at this morning. That is about the ongoing communications with your customer. And again, the big component that a lot of people remember, the shiny one that they want to work on, is the email marketing. And I don't blame people, because it is effective. It's hugely effective, but they do it to the detriment of by forgetting about all of the other stuff, which works as well. Okay. So, each one of these particular areas, as you know, within the system that I do, I try and break everything down into threes, and each area has its own 3 segments that we work on. So each of these have their own particular training module that we work on. And for the contact, in terms of this initial contact with a customer, we have what we call the customer care charter, and that's all about being consistent in how we treat our customers, being able to articulate, in other words, be clear about what we actually say, do, being realistic, not making promises that we can't keep, doing the things that we say we're going to do. All of that area is part of the same communication stroke keeping in touch, helping to build relationships as well. As far as the contract is concerned, we take a look at once the customer engages our service, how do we actually deal with that customer? What level of communication do we need? Have we got follow-up sequences in place to ensure that they know what's going on? Are we communicating everything to them so that there's no confusion come the end of a project or during a project? What have we got in place to make sure that the customer is kept abreast of everything that's actually happening? So these are particular modules on their own. And what we're looking at this morning is the client continuity creator. And the continuity creator is about, we've got the customer, we're carrying out work for them, or we have carried out work for them. What do we do to maintain regular communication with them once the job is done, once we are finished? And as we know, with many people, and please do comment if this is or has been you, or if it was you before Toolbox and now you've changed, or if it's currently you and you want to change. But normally what we see in the industry is what I call oh, crikey, I've forgotten even the name of it now. It's gone from my head. But it's the point where you have it's gone out of my head. There's a name I call it, and I call it regularly, and it's here on the tip of my tongue. You ever have a morning like that? But the point I'm making is, people get paid for the job, and that's the end of the relationship, transactional relationship. That's the word I was looking for. Good Lord, where did that go? So yeah, people have a transactional relationship with their customers in the sense that they get booked to do a job, and then they get paid for doing that job. And then at the end of that, that's the last, the only time a customer, after you've done a job, and like I said, if it is you, let me know, or if it has been, or if you want to change it. But the only time a customer tends to hear from you at the end of a job or after a job is if they haven't paid you and you have to contact them to get your money. If you're waiting for a check or you're waiting for a bank transfer or whatever, the only time people tend to pick up the phone is to say, sorry, Mr. Jones, that check hasn't gone through yet. Are you making the payment this Friday? Or whatever the case may be. But what nobody thinks is that after the payment has been made, or what many people don't, toolboxers nowadays do, people who are working the system do. But what people don't realize is that there's a huge amount of value in maintaining contact with a customer. Once the job has been completed, once you've been paid for it, there's a huge amount of benefit in following up with people after the fact. And of course, initial kind of follow-ups can be simple things like a phone call to say, it's been several weeks since we've done the work for you. Is everything okay? Have you had any issues, any problems, anything we can look at? All that does is it shows the customer that you give a shit. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't do even that one simple step. A lot of people don't, and there's a lot of other things you can do, and we're going to talk about. But that one simple step, many people don't do because they're afraid that the customer will have some issue or problem or remark to make about what they've actually done. Whereas, how do you feel as a customer if somebody's carried out some work in your home or on your car or whatever the case may be, even you book a holiday and you go away. God, holidays, what are they like? And you go away and you come back from your holiday and you get a phone call from the person who helped you to organize it, the travel agent, and they say, well, how did you get on? Did you enjoy it? Did you have a good experience? Is there anything you need to tell me about? Was there anything that let you down? And so on and so forth. How many times does that happen? It doesn't. I'll tell you who it does happen with. It happens with an organization called travel counselors, if any of you have ever dealt with them. And I've got a fantastic travel counselor who, when I book travel through her, that's exactly what happens. You know, she will help organize everything. And then when you come back from the trip, you get a phone call or an email to say, how did everything go? Was there any problems? Was there anything that you need to make me aware of? Because you know, all right, I know from a marketing perspective and a business perspective that that's part of her process, because that's what I do. I'm interested in that kind of thing. But many of her customers will see that as a personal service, and that's a very simple thing that you can do. Doesn't matter how big or how small the job is, to have set up within your system, within your realm of things that you do during your marketing hour, to have a diary entry set up to say, check in with Fred, check in with Jane, check in with Mark, and just see how things have been. And you can do that 7 days, 14 days after a job has been completed. A simple phone call, simple email to say, you know, hope everything's okay. Any issues, any problems, you know, now's an opportunity to have a chat with me and discuss it. But 9 times out of 10, what you'll find is they'll be, oh, really surprised to hear you, you know, really surprised that you've called. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. No, everything's great. We're really happy. And then that starts sowing this seed of how you as a business care about them. That then creates and helps to build word of mouth marketing, which again, you know, it's, you know, my feelings on people who blatantly just throw around word of mouth marketing as a strategy without putting any effort behind it. But this is one way to put effort behind word of mouth marketing. Guys, are you with me? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Is this of value? Let me see some thumbs, hearts, and smiley faces. And this is just a very simple thing of reminding you to follow up with your customers after you've been paid for the job, not to chase them for payment, not because you're waiting or you're looking for more work, but because you actually care that they have had value from what it is that you actually have done for them. Morning, Mr. Raby. James has joined us. Nice to see you out there, sir. Ollie Tyne has joined as well. Good morning to you, sir. Right, okay. So that's a very simple thing that you can do and that you should do. But then, you know, beyond that, way beyond that, there is more that we should do. So some of you as toolboxes will have seen this graphic before. I'm just going to walk you through this slowly, and we're going to talk about each of the components on this. If you have any queries or questions, please make sure that you do put your questions into the comment section below. For some of you, as newer members to the Toolbox, this will probably be new to you because you've not been to a live training event or you've not been to a workshop. But as far as follow-up is concerned, as far as the relationship once we have done work for the customer is concerned, my belief is that you should be using several different methods to follow them up. And when I say follow them up, I'm not saying chase them for more business. I'm not saying that you need to hound them. But what you need to do for your benefit, what you need to do is you need to keep your name on the tip of their tongue, which means that over the course of the years, they should be getting a number of different touches from you. They should be getting, you know, the emails, which we talk about all day Saturday. It's all about emails. So when we get to that component of this morning, I'm going to be just glancing over it. But they should be getting emails from you. They should be getting mail from you. They should be getting phone calls from you. There's a huge amount of things that you can do. And some things will suit some people and some things will suit other people. You don't have to do every single thing that I'm about to talk about. But what you should do is adopt a couple of these for yourself and work them into your marketing process. Don't think that by just initially getting a customer that is marketing. Marketing is about nurturing the customers that you already have. There is a lifetime value for every customer. You know, if you are just going to get a customer and you're going out and you're doing a minimum charge job for them and you're forgetting about that customer, then that minimum charge job and the lifetime value of that customer is just that 75 quid for your minimum charge job, right? But if you're building a relationship with the customer and you're nurturing the customer and you're communicating with the customer on and on and on, then that lifetime value should turn into thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds from the work that they bring you. But not only that, but the work that they refer you to and the people that they mention you to. And of course, they're only going to be mentioning you if you stand out head and shoulders above everybody else. If you're just a guy who came and did a job, charged them for the job, and that was it, then you're just another tradesman. But if you're the one who's constantly providing value, then you're worth talking about. You occupy a space in their brain. Your name remains on the tip of their tongue. And as a result, they talk about you, whether their friends are looking for an electrician and they go, oh, you know what, this guy that I've used, fantastic. Now, do they know what a good electrician is or what a poor electrician is? Probably not, but they know how they feel. And that's what makes them say that you're fantastic. That's what makes them say that you're great. They can't test the cables that you put in the wall. They can't see the quality of the work that you've done, but they know how you left them feeling. And if you left them feeling that it was just a job, you walked away, you got paid, that's it. There's nothing special about you. But if you're the guy who's constantly providing value, if you're the guy who from time to time pops up in their news feed or a letter or an email or a phone call, and it's about caring, not selling, then you're the guy who gives a shit. And that is the memory that they have of you. And that